All right. Shalom, shalom, family. How y'all doing out there? Happy Sabbath to you all. This is A.O.I. I'm Brother Ananias.
Brother Benaiah.
Brother Baruch.
Brother Eric.
And we say happy Sabbath to you. Shalom to you all. Before we get started, we want to give all honor, glory, and praise to the Most High God of Israel. Above all things, at all times, we just got to praise him for the things that he do for us day in and day out. He the reason why we even doing this call. He the reason why we woke up this morning. So we can't do nothing without giving him his just due. And that's what we're going to do. But as usual, want to give a shout out to everybody that's tuning in tonight. Appreciate you. You could have been doing anything that you wanted to do, but you're here tonight with us as a family. So we're going to try our best to give you this knowledge. And once again, tonight's topic is going to be asking the question, how should we be dealing with the poor, or should we be giving to the poor? That's what we're going to be dealing with, because I know coming into the truth, that was one of the issues that I had a problem with, or not a problem with, but a lack of understanding with. You know what I'm saying? Before I came into the truth, I was just like, hey, give to whoever, to try to help them, to make them better. Because I'm that type of person that I always want to make sure that everybody succeed or be better once they come in contact with me. You know what I'm saying? Or if I can help, I'm going to reach out and help the best way I can. But coming into this truth, I had to learn a few things. You know what I'm saying? The Lord been working on me, and as well as my other brothers and sisters. So we tend to study and show ourselves approved, but at the same time, we get some more wisdom and knowledge to go along with it. So tonight, we're going to learn about giving to the poor. Should we be doing what America teaches us to do? The obvious answer is hell no. But we're going to get it out of the scriptures. You know what I'm saying? But before we even start, I want to get a definition as to what poor is. And we're going to look that up, just a general or a broad definition as to what the internet will say, or that's in the dictionary. This is dictionary.com. Can y'all brothers see that?
Yeah.
All right. It says poor is an adjective. Having little or no money, goods, or other means of support. Law, dependent upon charity or public support of a country, institution, etc., meagerly supplied or endowed with resources or funds, characterized by showing poverty, deficient or lacking in something specified. I like definition number 5, deficient and lacking in something specified. Because us as a nation of people, as the nation of Israel, the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indian, we are deficient in a lot of things, whether we want to admit it or not. We're lacking in a lot of areas, mainly unity, understanding who we are. We lacking in strength of spirit, soul, mind, understanding, knowledge, basically. We lack in a lot of things. So in that regard, we are poor. And the scriptures talk about those things, but we're going to get into the scriptures. I just want to bring out a general overall definition as to what the word poor means. Having little or no money, or being basically deficient or lacking in something specified. But for now, let's go to 2 Timothy 3 and 16. 2 Timothy 3 and 16.
2 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 16. All scripture is given by inspiration of God and is profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, for introduction in righteousness.
Read the last part again. Read the last part again.
For correction, for introduction in righteousness.
For instruction, correction, instruction. That's what we're doing now. We learning. Should we be giving to everybody? Should we give to anybody that got their hand out? Anybody ask for food, ask for money, ask for advice? Should we just give to anybody? We're going to get that out of the scriptures. But according to the definition of poor, it says somebody lacking money. Now, America had you thinking it's just bad times. Somebody just fell on bad times. became a drug addict, alcoholic, or their family misraised them or whatever the case. And we tend to think that people just fell on hard times. But let's see what the Lord said. Let's go to 1 Samuel 2 and 6. 1 Samuel chapter 2 and verse 6. And we're going to read that in 8.
The book of 1 Samuel chapter 2 and verse 6. The Lord killeth and maketh alive. He bringeth down to the grave and bringeth up. The Lord maketh poor and maketh rich. He bringeth low and lifteth up. He raiseth up the poor out of the dust and lifteth up the beggar from the dunghill, to set them among princes and to make them inherit the throne of glory. For the pillars of the earth are the Lord's, and he hath set the world upon them.
Let me get Isaiah 55 and 8. So it says that the Lord maketh poor and maketh rich. So the first thing we need to understand, especially being in this truth, being an Israelite, man, woman, and child, we got to understand that the Lord is in control. It ain't what the so-called white man say. It ain't what's on the TV. It's not what's in the magazines. It's what's in these scriptures. The Lord is in control. He make poor and make rich. We get an understanding and think these brothers have fell on a hard time, or he must have did something wrong. Understand the Lord do all things. Even the story when Christ healed the brother that was blind, and the disciple was asking him, "Who sinned, Master? Was it him? Was it his parents?" The Lord said, "Nah, he was just put here. He was made blind for this exact moment, so the Lord could be glorified." You know what I'm saying? So we got to understand these things. The Lord does all things. He do it for a specific reason. Sometimes it be just to test you, just to see where your mind at, where your heart at.
Right.
See if you're going to look out for your people. See if you're going to trust in your enemy more than you're trusting your own people. The Lord will do these things. What the scriptures say, be careful because you unawarely might have entertained angels.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You got to understand these things. But from there, let's go to Isaiah 55 and 8. A lot of people will hear that and be like, "What? That don't make no sense. Not my God." Not my God. That don't make no sense. Well, let's go to Isaiah 55 and 8.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 55 and verse 8. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither your ways are my ways, said the Lord.
Keep going. Read on.
For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts.
Let me get Isaiah 46 and 10. So the Lord said, "My thoughts are not your thoughts." And in 9, he said, "For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways." We got to understand this his movie, his script. Who the hell are we? We actors. We what you call them, extras. But we the elect, Lord willing. You know what I'm saying? We in his movie, in his script, his ways, he decide what go on. Let's get that in Isaiah 46 and 10, just to furthermore prove what we're talking about.
All right, the book of Isaiah, chapter 46 and verse 10, declaring the end from the beginning and from ancient times the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure.
He will what?
I will do all my pleasure.
So the Lord declared everything from the end from the beginning. And he's going to do all his pleasure. Just like we say, it's his movie, his script. He's going to choose the roles of everybody. So when you see somebody on the side of the street, the Lord put them there. Somebody with their hand out, the Lord put them there. It's a reason for everything. Either to straighten them back out, or there's various reasons. Like I said, or like the scriptures say, his thoughts are way higher than ours. We can't understand the ways of the Most High God. Ezra will tell you that. But let's go to Proverbs 13:18. Proverbs 13 and 18. Now, hopefully this ain't going to be a long class for you all. But just to give you some understanding how to approach a situation going forward. Proverbs 13 and 18.
Proverbs chapter 13 and verse 18. Poverty and shame shall be to him that refuseth instruction, but he that regardeth reproof shall be honored.
Poverty and shame be to him that refuseth instruction. Poverty and shame when you refuse instruction, but he that regardeth reproof, correction, shall be honored. Why? Because you're going to change your ways. You're going to listen to that wisdom and you're going to come up out that dirt. Like the Lord said, he going to raise them out of the dunghill to sit amongst princes. When you take that correction, when you get that understanding, when you regard reproof, understanding people that have been there before, they're going to basically pull you up out of there because they don't want to see you there. From there, let's go to Deuteronomy 15 and 11, because it's something that the Lord say about so-called poor people, which you, right, from my that you could say is really the Israelites right now. Even though you got other nations suffering as well, but for the most part, it's the Israelite. Deuteronomy 15 and 11.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 15 and verse 11. For the poor shall never cease out of the land. Therefore, I command thee, saying, thou shalt open thine hand wide unto thy brother, to the poor, and to the needy, and to thy needy in thy land.
So he said, for the poor shall never cease out of the land. So it don't matter if we was in Jerusalem or we scattered around the world. It's still going to be poor throughout the land. And until Christ come back and crack that sky and set everything back in order, it's going to be poor individuals amongst us. Now, it don't mean just monetary gain. Talking about spiritually, mentally, physically. We in this corruptible world, in this wicked ass kingdom, in this wicked world, it's going to always be poor among us. Mainly talking about our people. So let me read that last part again. It says, thou shalt open thy hand wide unto thy brother. It ain't necessarily talking about give you money. You got brothers and sisters that's going through things in life. You got to get that shoulder to cry on or to lean on. You got to give that wisdom and that understanding. You got to give it wide. Open thy hand wide for thy brother and sister. To the poor and to the needy in the land. Needy of understanding, knowing or needing to know which way to go. You know, because this world we live in this society or this kingdom, it's very few of us trying to guide each other, trying to help each other. We all know that today's society is all about I. You know, everybody out looking for, trying to get that money for themselves. You know, but in that aspect, when you thinking like that, you got a poor spirit on you. When you ain't looking out for your brothers and sisters or your people or your nation, you got a poor spirit, a poor mindset, a slave mindset. If that, you know, let's go to 1 John 3 and 16. So the Lord said we're going to always have the poor among us. So we need to be aware of that. You know, it don't matter how much money you make. If you on LeBron James level, you ain't got a job level. It's going to always be poor. And it's going to always be somebody that needs your help. You ain't got money, ain't got nothing. Money is a defense, but it don't solve all things. You know what I'm saying? LeBron James might be suffering like hell. I got all kind of damn mental issues. Why? Because he can't walk down the street. He's scared. He paranoid for his family. He got to have security here. He got to be paying out money here, left and right. Insecurities. We don't know that man's mindset. But the TV or the media have you thinking that he's all good. He's straight. Nah, he poor in spirit as well. We need to understand these things. Let's go to 1 John 3 and 16.
The book of 1 John chapter 3 and verse 16. Hereby perceive we the love of God, because he laid down his life for us. We ought to lay down our lives for the brethren.
Read the but let me see. Read the 18.
But whoso have the words of good, the world's goods, and see his brother have need, he shut up his bowels and compassion from him. How dwelleth the love of God in him? My little children, let us not love the word, neither in tongue, but in deed and in truth.
He said, hereby perceive we the love of God because he laid down his life for us. He laid his life down for us. That we ought to lay down our lives for our brethren. We see our people out there struggling with no understanding or just needing somebody to talk to. You got to lay down that life, lay down or put down the things that we think that's so important to help your brother and sister out. You know what I'm saying? That 5 to 10 minutes that you stop from what you think was so important to lend that ear could save somebody's life. You know what I'm saying? They contemplating in their head whether they need to pull that trigger or not. Jump off that bridge, run that car off into a ditch. We stop what we doing and get that 5-minute phone call, or stop what we doing thinking the work is that important to pay attention to your brother and sister could save a life. Just from them hearing your words and giving them encouragement to keep pushing, that it ain't that bad. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
From there, let's go to John 21:17. Have compassion for the brethren. We all we got. Whether we want to admit it or not, we all we got.
Mm-hmm.
The other nations are not looking out for us. Even though they pretend to, they're not looking out for us. They can put all the posters up, all the commercials up, acting like they're doing something. They pretending to help you. And as soon as something hit the fan, soon as, you know what I'm trying to say, soon as it hit the fan, they gone.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So we got to have compassion on our brothers and sisters. We got to look out for us. While we so busy and caught up in what they put on the TV, we out trying to take care of everybody else but our own. In these last days, it's high time we wake the hell up and start taking care of our people. That's the message of this lesson tonight about giving to the poor. It's taking care of your own. Damn the other nations right now. It's the rebuilding of the nation of Israel. We ain't got time to be worried about them. We've been trying to follow behind them for our whole lives, and where it done got us. We more destroyed now than ever.
That's right.
So it's high time we wake the hell up and start doing for us. Let's get John 21:17. The book of John, chapter 21 and verse 17.
The book of John, chapter 21 and verse 17. He said unto him the third time, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me? Peter was grieved because he said unto him the third time, lovest thou me? And he said unto him, Lord, thou knowest all things. Thou knowest that I love thee. Jesus said unto him, feed my sheep.
He said what?
Feed my sheep.
Feed my sheep don't necessarily mean with food. Feed them physically, mentally, financially, spiritually. Feed them with the word of God. Our people don't know who God is. Even though we the most spiritual people on the planet, the nation of Israel, we're the most spiritual people on the planet, but we don't have no spiritual guidance, no spiritual understanding. We are singing old Negro spirituals and don't even realize what we singing. It wasn't until I came into the truth and realized what they were saying when they were saying sweet and low, sweet and loud. What is how the song go?
Sweet cherry.
Yeah. I ain't know nothing about why they singing about a cherry, but the cherries is in the scriptures. Right. They knew what was going on.
Right.
You see?
Hey, brother.
Go ahead.
Or like when our people say, I said it all my life. Man, I'm working like a Hebrew slave.
All right.
Yeah, you ever heard that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we say that all our life. And now we know that we the Israelites, we the Hebrews. We've been saying all these different things, like you said, singing songs. All the whole time it's been about us. The whole time we've been reading the Bible, it's been about us. Every Sunday you went to church, you really reading about yourself, and we didn't even know it. Right? You got to
right. And also for people who might not know, who might see this video, it's called when they would when the slaves used to sing swing down sweet chariot coming for to take me home. They were talking about the chariots that are in the Bible, which are they call UFOs, but like we said, we call them IFOs because we know what they are. But they knew the scripture, and they knew that when our deliverance come, the chariots we would get delivered with the chariots. So that's why when they out there in that cotton field picking that cotton in that hot sun, that's what they were singing. Swing down, sweet chariot, coming for to take me home, cause they knew who they were.
That's right. All praise for that, bros. But Christ
Let me
told
get a quick
Peter,
precept
if
in.
you go ahead.
Come on. I'm gonna get Isaiah chapter 55, verse 1. Going back to how you just said, feed my sheep, right? This book of Isaiah chapter 55, verse 1. It said, ho, everyone that thirsts, come ye to the waters. And like our people, they're thirsting for answers. You know, they're trying to get understanding about what's going on in the world. Like, who am I? Right? And the water is going into the scriptures. Right? So the Lord said, ho, everyone that thirsts, come ye to the waters, and he that have no money, because we poor, like you said, we on the bottom, we ain't got nothing. Right? He said, and he that have no money, come ye buy and eat. Right? Talking about the scriptures, come buy into it, because this is our faith. And it said, come buy wine and milk without money and without price. Right? Because this truth, you can't buy into it. It ain't no tithe in the offerings. It's like, and the wine is going into the deep understanding about who God is, about how to serve him, and the milk going into the commandments. Right?
That's right.
Come on. Going back to that.
Good point, brother. And I'm glad you brought that up, because the next verse is going to explain that a little bit more. Let's go to John chapter 6, verse 63. John chapter 6, verse 63.
John chapter 6 and verse 63. It
Yes,
is
sir.
the spirit that quickeneth, the flesh profited nothing. The words that I speak unto you, they are spirit and they are life.
So when he said feed my sheep, he ain't necessarily talking about no money. He's talking about feeding with the spirit. Because the spirit is life. You know what I'm saying? He said the flesh profited nothing. I mean, think about it. You can go give a man a sandwich. An hour later, he's still hungry.
Mm-hmm.
So did you really help him? No. If you really helped him, you give him the knowledge to be able to go get a sandwich whenever he felt like. He knew, just like the old saying about going fishing. Rather than give a man a fish, teach him how to fish, so he ain't got to come back asking for a fish. He can go get a fish anywhere because he know how to fish now. That is what Christ is talking about when he say, feed my sheep. It ain't about money. Money is a defense. Money is important, yes, but us as a people, we more destroyed where we need more than just money. We got to understand that. Said, feed my sheep and then give them life through the word, basically. That's what he's saying. They are spirit, they are life. Give them life through the word. You know? From there, let's go to Deuteronomy 8 and 23. Deuteronomy chapter 8 and verse 2, my bad. Deuteronomy 8 and 2.
Deuteronomy chapter 8 and verse 2. And thou shall remember all the way which the Lord thy God led thee these 40 years in the wilderness, to humble thee, to prove thee, to know, hold on, okay, let's see, to know what was in thy heart, whether thou would keep his commandment or no.
Keep reading.
Verse 3. And he humbled thee and suffered thee to hunger and fed thee with manna, which thou knowest not, neither did thy fathers know, that he might make thee known that man does not live by bread only, but by every word which proceeded out of the mouth of the Lord does man live.
That's right.
So when you feeding them with the scriptures, with the truth, with the understanding, you letting the people know that, hey, look, I can help you out with a meal. I can give you $5, $10, but that ain't gonna keep you. That ain't gonna uphold you. That ain't gonna satisfy you.
Right.
You know your spirit. You know what I'm saying? It said the Lord humbled thee, just like he did us in the wilderness for 40 years. Matter of fact, let me go back to that. And thou shalt remember all the way which the Lord thy God led thee 40 years in the wilderness to humble thee. A lot of us are prideful. Came from background. I mean, how many NFL and NBA players have you seen that was riding on high? Now they on the bottom.
Right.
Which in this society ain't much. You know what I'm saying? But just looking at that for an example, it said, and to prove thee to know what was in thy heart. The Lord will give you everything that you need. He gave us as a nation everything that we needed. But we still got prideful. We forgot about the Lord. We forgot about who woke us up, who created us, the reason why. And then we forgot about the Lord. Same way we'll do for an individual. You know, it said, whether thou will keep his commandments or no. He wanted to prove to see. I wonder if these people, even though I done gave them everything, are they going to keep my commandments? It's in the wilderness. He said he suffered thee to hunger and fed thee with manna. That's stuff or food that nobody else on the planet ever tasted. We were living in a land flowing with milk and honey, had everything that you wanted. And yet and still we went off and wanted to do our own thing.
Now we living somewhere with a bunch of stuff that we don't want.
They filed everything. You know what I'm saying? That he may make, what he said, might make thee know that the man do not live by bread only. That's exactly what we're talking about tonight. You trying to give somebody a couple quarters, couple dollars, a meal here and there, a coat. That is not what is going to sustain you. We as Israelites need to understand that the Most High sustain us. The Most High is in control. What it say in Proverbs 20:24, the Lord, man's goings are of the Lord. So just to prove to our people, and they need to understand these things, when somebody come to give you a little bit of change, the Lord did that. Somebody came and pulled up and gave you that meal, the Lord did that. But our people got to be smart enough and understanding enough to understand that the Lord did that. So we can't keep taking it for granted and keep going and doing what the hell we want to do. Because it's going to come a day when the Lord going to say the hell with it. You know? But for now, let's go to Sirach 40:1. Got to give them truth, though. If we're going to feed the sheep, we got to give them truth. You know? Because we all been tried. We all got our own ups and downs or our tribulations in life. We all got our problems. Ain't no one man bigger than or better than this nation. You know? But this is something that our people got to understand. Sirach or Ecclesiastes chapter 40:1.
The book of Sirach, chapter 40 and verse 1. Great travail is created for every man, and a heavy yoke is upon the sons of Adam, from the day that they go out of their mother's womb to the day that they return to the mother of all things. Their imagination of things to
That's
come.
it. That's all I want. 40:1, it said, great travail is created for every man. So we got to understand that as well. It ain't just for the nation of Israel, but for every man. A heavy yoke is upon the sons of Adam.
Right.
From the day that they go out the mother's womb to the day they return to the earth, or the mother of all things. Great travail. But a lot of us don't understand that. We don't know these things. Like I said, we like to live our life based on what we done read or been taught or conditioned to in life, thinking that we done ran up on bad luck or it's a coincidence. Ain't no bad luck. Ain't no such thing as luck. Ain't no coincidence. The Lord is in control of everything. Ain't no accidents. It's a reason for everything. We need to understand that as a people. From there, let's go to Psalms 112:5. The book of Psalms, chapter 112 and verse 5, and we're going to read that to 9.
All right. The book of Psalms, chapter 112 and verse 5. And it reads, a good man showeth favor and lendeth. He will guide his affairs with discretion. Surely he shall not be moved forever. The righteous shall be in everlasting remembrance. He shall not be afraid of evil tidings. His heart is fixed, trusting in the Lord. His heart is established. He shall not be afraid until he sees his desire upon his enemies.
You see that? It say a good man showeth favor and lendeth. He will guide his affairs with discretion. A good man gonna use wisdom. He ain't gonna just give everything, give his time, his energy to anybody, knowing damn well they don't want to listen. You ain't got to waste your time trying to convince somebody that don't want to listen. Neither do you have to continue trying to give to somebody that don't want to listen. Hey, brother. Hey, sister. This is the reason why you're in this condition. Let me show you why, and let me help you so you don't have to keep going down that path. Man, I don't believe that. I've been All right, then. A wise man gonna use discretion. I'm not gonna waste my time no more.
I'm trying to show out for.
Yeah. He said, why a good man showeth favor and lendeth, he will guide his affairs with discretion, meaning using wisdom. Surely he shall not be moved forever. His righteousness shall be an everlasting remembrance. Righteousness, whether we want to know it or not, is keeping the commandments. He shall not be afraid of evil tidings. His heart is fixed, trusting in the Lord. He shall not be afraid of evil tidings. That's the type of food that we need to be speaking and pouring into our people. Letting them know, hey, when you trusting in the Lord, you ain't got to worry about your enemy. You ain't got to be worrying about where you're going to get your next meal, because the Lord said, why worry about tomorrow when today got enough troubles as it is? Or you're much more than a bird. They don't worry about what they going to eat. How much more are you? This is the truth. These are the things we need to be pouring into our people when giving to the poor. The lack understanding, lack wisdom, lack discernment. We need to be pouring into them the truth of what's going on in life as to why they in the situation they're in. It said his heart, meaning his mind, is established. He shall not be afraid until he see his desire upon his enemies. Until he see the desire upon his enemies. Think about that. You know what I'm saying? We ain't gonna be afraid. We're gonna be pushing forward. From there, let's go to Psalms 145, verse 17 through 19. If y'all brother got something you want to add, feel free. But we're gonna go to Psalms 145 and verse 17.
The book of Psalms, chapter 145 and verse 17. The Lord is righteous in all his ways and holy in all his works. The Lord is nigh unto all them that call upon him, and all that call upon him in truth. He will fulfill the desire of them that fear him. He will also hear their cry, and he will save them. The Lord preserveth all them that loveth him, but all the wicked will he destroy.
You see that? They say the Lord is righteous in all his ways. So whatever he decided to do, he righteous in it, you know? And holy in all his work. He's separate. Ain't nobody beside him. He'll tell you that. And Isaiah, 55 or 45?
45 and 7.
Exactly. He said, the Lord is nigh unto them that call upon him in truth. What is truth? What is the truth that we calling upon the Lord on? Let's go to Psalms 119, 142.
Let me get a quick precept real quick.
Go ahead, my brother.
Back on that in Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 3 and verse 9. It said, they that put their trust in him shall understand truth, right? And such as a faithful in love shall abide with him. That love going into the commandments. We got to be faithful in keeping the commandments, right? And putting our trust in what he's promised us, that hey, we was get eternal life if we was to abide in his commandments, keep the truth, right? And it says for grace and mercy to his saints, right? And we know the children of Israel are his saints, and he have care for his elect, which is Lord's will. We part of that elect. And it says verse 10, but the ungodly shall be punished according to their own imagination. Right? So whatever these people, the Lord said, whatever these people sow on this earth, they're gonna reap the same thing. Right? It says, which have neglected the righteous, right? The laws, the commandment, neglected us. We try to teach them what they should do to observe punishment, right? and forsaken the Lord, and they have forsaken the scriptures and forsaken their God, right? But the Lord said they're gonna be punished for that. So
it goes right into what we read in Proverbs 13:18. Poverty and shame come to those that reject the truth or reject the word. You gonna get what you sow, you know. But let's get that what the truth is in Psalms 119, 142. Because for those who tuning in for the first time, you got to go precept upon precept, line upon line. That's why we bounce around the Bible to piece everything together. You know what I'm saying? You can't just read it up, straight up and down, right to left or left to right. You know what I'm saying? The Bible is a book of mystery. And when you keep in the commandments, that's when you get understanding how to read it and understand who is written to, who is written by, who is written for. But we're going to get what the truth of the Bible is. Let's get that.
The book of Psalms, chapter 119 and verse 142. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth.
Thy what?
And thy law is the truth.
Now, a lot of our people will say, man, I ain't got time for that. The law done away with. Nah, it's law everywhere. It's law in everything that you do. Whether it's driving down the street in a car, you got law to follow. It's laws at your job, laws at your school, laws in your house. So you got to know that the Most High God got laws for us to follow as a nation of people. He said the law is the truth. When you following his truth, his law, your life gonna be that much better. You have that much more understanding. And he'll also tell you don't lean on your own understanding, but what he tell you, you know. But for now, let's go to Psalms 34 and 4. And somebody give me 1 Peter 3 and 12.
I got you, Psalms.
All right.
The book of Psalms, chapter 34 and 4. I sought the Lord, and he heard me, delivered me from all my fears. They looked upon him and were lightened, and their faces were not ashamed. This poor man cried, and the Lord heard him and saved him out of all his troubles. The angel of the Lord encamped around about them that fear him and delivered them. Oh, taste and see.
That's all I want on that. You said, I sought the Lord and he heard me and delivered me from my fear. When we out there struggling in this life, over here in Babylon the Great, or America as you know it is, we struggling, we having our problems, and we cry out to the Lord. In order for him to fear, or not to fear, but to hear us, we got to be doing something. That's keeping his commandments. Otherwise, he ain't hearing what we got to say. I know a lot of us over here, we still sleep. We don't understand what's going on. But that's why when you hear this truth, you hear anything pertaining to this truth, you need to start doing your research. You need to pause and do a little bit of research. You say, I sought the Lord and he heard me and delivered me from all my fears. A lot of our people don't understand that. We just go by what we see on TV and cry out to the Lord in our time of need. So they looked unto him and were lightened, and their faces were not ashamed. We shouldn't be ashamed to call on the Lord, nor to be call ourselves Israelites. He said, this poor man cried, and the Lord heard him and saved him out of his troubles. The angel of the Lord encamped round about them that fear him and delivered them. So this is one of the reasons why we stand so boldly when we out there on the corner, on the highways and byways, preaching and teaching against these wicked ass kingdom amongst all nations, because we know what the angel of the Lord is encamped round about us because we fear the Lord, and he gonna deliver us. So it ain't nothing that the other nations can tell us, and these are the same type of messages or information we need to be pouring into our people when they struggling and don't understand. When you fear the Lord and keep his commandments, he got angels around you protecting you. You know, and he gonna deliver you. He gonna hear your prayers then. Giving them 50 cents, giving them a sandwich, that ain't helping them. We need to understand that. From there, let's go to 1 Peter 3 and 12. But we think
book of 1 Peter.
because what we see on TV, we lining up to go to the homeless shelter to put a scoop of slop on a tray. You know, we think we doing something. I was once one of those people. For some odd reason, I thought, you know, if I go down to the shelter around the holiday season and put a scoop of some damn slop on somebody's plate, I was doing good. I ain't doing nothing but making mockery of my people. Lord, for some odd reason, the Lord always prevented me from doing it. I always wanted to do it because I always seen it on TV. And it made me feel like if I was able to do that, I'd be doing some good. The hell with that, man. I ain't helping my people. I'm in there standing up over them like I'm better than come to me, get this slop. Don't even know what the hell I'm feeding them. I'm giving them a scoop or something, thinking I'm doing something.
Ham.
I should be pulling over, sitting at the table next to them, telling them who the hell they are. Telling them that this is the reason why us as a people in this condition. They should be feeding us. I mean, we should be feeding them. That's what I meant to say. They supposed to be on the bottom.
Right.
But they in there with their little reindeer gear on, with their little crooked ass Santa hats, you know, with the jingle bells on. You know, they smiling because they getting ready to go home to a nice mansion with all these Christmas trees and ornaments and reindeers everywhere. Why people in there can't even shave or not shave but wash their ass. You know, barely got a place to sleep, ain't got no clothes to keep them warm, not knowing who they are. They looking for the next fix or the next bottle. And I'm in there giving them a scoop. I'm thinking I'm doing something righteous. Why? Because I'm pouring in or being conditioned by Esau or the enemy's foolishness. I'm thinking I'm doing something. I ain't doing a damn thing. Think about that. Let's get that. 1 Peter 3:12.
The book of 1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 12. For the eyes of the Lord are over the righteous, and his ears are open unto their prayers. But the face of the Lord is against them that do evil.
Is that what I wanted? Read that one more time.
The book of 1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 12. For the eyes of the Lord are over the righteous, and his ears are open unto their prayers. But the face of the Lord is against them that do evil.
You see that? That's just making more clarification of what I was saying earlier. When you keep the commandments, the Lord is listening to you. You know, he open unto your prayers. But the Lord is against them that do evil. What is evil? Breaking the commandments, committing sin, committing iniquity. You know, so when you're doing those things, just know that the Lord is not open to your prayer. But when you hearken to what his commandments are, his law, statutes, and commandments, he open to your prayers. From there, let's go to Deuteronomy 6:25. Because he said the Lord are over the righteous. Who are the righteous? What is righteousness? We're going to find that out. Deuteronomy 6:25. We talk about this all the time when we out talking to our brothers and sisters. But
Deuteronomy.
We're going to bring it out to you.
Deuteronomy chapter 6 and verse 25. And it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these commandments before the Lord our God, and have as he has commanded us.
So what is the Lord saying? Because we always tell you or let you know that the Bible defines itself. It says, and it shall be our righteousness. So to be righteousness is if we observe to do all his commandments. It ain't what the TV tell you righteous is, because the TV ain't even gonna give you no definition. They just like to say righteous. But the Lord say, if you observe to keep these commandments, that's being righteous. You on the right-hand side. You know, do what's commanded of you. That's being righteous. So the Lord's eyes are upon the righteous, meaning those who are keeping the commandments. And that's the type of food, once again, that we need to be feeding to our brothers and sisters who are still asleep, unaware as to who they are, what they're supposed to be doing in this world, going to and fro, when dealing with each other. Damn the football, damn the NBA. We need to be telling each other who we are and what we need to be doing.
Right.
It ain't about hitting the club up, trying to get in there before 10. It ain't about going to damn Forever 21, trying to look young all the time. Stop. It's time to put this shit on timeout. You know what I'm saying? It's time we wake the hell up. You know? Come back to who we are. Let's go to Proverbs 14 and 20. Proverbs 14 and 20.
All right. It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 14 and verse 20.
Uh-huh.
And it reads, the poor is hated even of his own neighbor, but the rich hath many friends.
Read 21.
Verse 21. He that despiseth his neighbor sinneth, but he that hath mercy on the poor, happy is he.
You see that? It said the poor is hated even of his own neighbor, meaning of his own people. We hate our poor, you know, but the rich have many friends. The ones who run around paying for you to come party with them, you know, come eat with them. He got many friends. He said, he that despiseth his neighbor, sin him. You despise your neighbor when you're looking down on him rather than giving him that helping hand, that shoulder to cry on, or that ear to pour into. You despise him, but he that have mercy on the poor, happy is he. When you able to give your brothers and sisters that didn't know who the hell they was 5 minutes ago, you able to give them that inspiration, that knowledge, and they eyes just light the hell up. Happy is he. When you can sit there and have a real conversation with somebody twice your age and they get some understanding, happy is he.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it means. That's how we feed the sheep. It ain't about no damn money. I can give somebody $100. That don't mean they gonna treat me any different. That don't mean they gonna change their lifestyle. We got to think about these things. Let's go to Matthew 22 and 39. Because it just said that the poor are despised by their own people. Are we not the poor?
Mm-hmm.
Poor in spirit, poor financially, poor all the way around. And we despise each other. Think about that. We can't work together. We look down on each other. At every level of life you can think of, we looking down on each other as a nation of people. And looking up to the ones who in charge. When we should be coming together so we can stand up against the ones who in charge, knowing that they down putting their foot on our necks. But let's go to Matthew 22 and 39. Let's see what Christ.
Let me get a quick precept real quick.
Go ahead, bro.
Going back into that riches. This is Proverbs 11 and 11 and 28. It says, he that trusteth in his riches shall fail. Right? Going into somebody of this society who, want to accumulate wealth, thinking that that's going to get them, ahead in life, or going to get them into the kingdom, or, get them in the good graces of God. Right? Riches don't profit you nothing, like you had stated. So the Lord said, he that trusteth in his riches shall fail, but righteous shall flourish as a branch. Right? And you think about a tree, you rather be a branch than some leaves that's gonna fall when season comes past, right? So if you trust in the Lord, you're gonna be a strong branch.
Oh,
right, and not in the riches.
Let's go to Matthew chapter 22, verse 39. But just like we were saying, you don't want to be that broken branch, but our people, we broken. And we hate each other. It said that the poor are despised by their own. Let's see what Christ say, though. Let's go to Matthew 22 and 39.
The book of Matthew, chapter 22 and verse 39. And the second, and the second
38.
is 38. This is the first and the great commandment, and the second is like unto it. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. And on these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets.
You see that? It said on this, Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. So why are we looking down on other individuals? Because they ain't reached to your status or that so-called status you living in, thinking that you done made it somewhere. You ain't made it no damn way. You're still captive. Whether you a manager, you a business owner, or you ain't got no job, you still captive.
That's right.
So we supposed to love each other, knowing that we all here for one reason, for our disobedience. We supposed to come together and love each other regardless. And help build each other at all times. I got a perfect story. I probably done told the brothers before, but perfect example would be how the other nations deal. You know, me and my family, we was out one night. Well, not even a night. It was during the day. We was out eating at this restaurant, sitting out on the outside of it eating. And it was 4 different tables. And it was us, a table full of Edomites, and another table that had 2 women, 2 so-called black women at it. So we sitting there, you know, having a good time, whatever, eating. All of a sudden, the Edomite come walking up. It's a guy. He come walking up. He looks around and he sit down at a table that's an empty table. He look at us. Hey, I don't mean to interrupt you, but can you spare me something to eat? So I look at him like, why he decide he want to interrupt my family? But rather than giving what he wanted, I said, you know what? I see your people right there. Ask them, and if they won't give you what you asked for, I'll help you out. This man sat at the table for 10 minutes, going back and forth in his head, trying to figure out how he was going to ask him. And he got up and left. He got up and left. He was too embarrassed to even ask his own people. But he felt that we, so-called blacks, Hispanic, and Native Indian, or us as African American, we were lowly at the bottom of society, so we should know how he feel.
Yeah.
So the man got the hell up from his table and he went on back on his journey. Either the
they be
man
trying
wasn't
to play a little
hungry,
sympathy
or he was
card,
just
those
that damn embarrassed
I
to
swear.
ask his own people. And that blew my mind seeing that. He had an easier time coming to ask the so-called black family for something to eat, a handout, than he was able, rather than going to his own people. Think about
And
this.
then for most of us, we'll feel more comfortable going around our own people than to the other folks.
Mm-hmm. Think about this. But for now, let's go to Job 31 and 19. Job 31 and 19. Because the Lord said, the poor are not going to cease from out our land. He said, give with your arm wide open or with your hand wide open. Let's see what Job said.
This is the book of Job, chapter 31 and verse 19. If I have seen any perish from what of clothing, or any poor without covering, if his loins have not blessed me, and if he were not warm with the fierce of my sheep, if I have lifted up my hand against the fatherless, when I saw my help in the gate, then let my then let my arm fall from my shoulder's blade, and my arm be broken from the bone,
You see that? You see how Job spoke about taking care of his people. He said, if I have seen any perish for want of clothing, let my shoulder fall from my arm. Any poor without covering. If loins have not blessed me, if they were not warm with the fleece of my sheep, if I had lifted up my hand against the fatherless without help in the gate, then let my arm fall from my shoulder blade and my arm to be broken from the bone. That's a whole different type of mindset that we do not have here in Babylon the Great. The man said, take my arm, break my arm if I ain't taking care of my people. Now, this is a level of understanding that we all need to be striving to get to help our people. Now, we done gave all types of different ways to view how to give to our people. You know, the Lord said, open your hand wide. If we didn't, let's get that in Deuteronomy 15:7. Because I don't know if we covered that or not, but we're going to get it again. Deuteronomy chapter 15:7.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 15 and verse 7. If there be among you a poor man, or one that brethren with any of that, I'm sorry, let me read that again. Deuteronomy chapter 15, verse 7. If there be among you a poor man, or one of thy brethren within any of thy gates, and thy land which the Lord thy God giveth thee, thou shalt not harden thy heart, nor shut thy hand from the poor brother.
Read 8.
But thou shalt open thy hand wide unto him, and shalt surely lend him sufficient for his need, and that which he wanted.
Now, I don't know if y'all understand that. That's a commandment. It said, but thou shalt open thy hand wide unto him, and thou shalt surely lend him sufficient for his need, and that which he is wanting. You see that? That's how we took care of our people. You know, that's real brotherly love. Open thy hand wide. You know, let's go to Sirach 4:1. Sirach chapter 4, verse 1, and we're going to read that through 6.
All right. It's the book of Sirach, chapter 4 and verse 1. My son, defraud not the poor of his living, and make not the needy eyes to wait long. Make not an hungry soul sorrowful, neither provoke a man in his distress. Add no more trouble to an heart that is vexed, and defer not to give to him that is in need. Reject not the supplication of the afflicted, neither turn away thy face from a poor man.
Keep going. Read the 6.
Verse 5. Turn not away thine eyes from the needy, and give him none occasion to curse thee. For if he curse thee in the bitterness of his soul, his prayer shall be heard of him that made him.
It said, don't defraud not the poor. Let me start over. It says, my son, defraud not the poor of his living, and make not the needy eyes wait long. The brother need help. You know, it ain't no reason, hey, I'll get back with you at the end of the week. You either gonna help or not. The brother need help. Hey, you either gonna help or you ain't. Make not in hungry soul sorrowful, neither provoke a man to his distress. The brother cold as hell, struggling, or ain't got no understanding, don't distress the man. Don't try to hold it over his head. Add no more trouble to a heart that is vexed, and defer not to him that is in need. Reject not the supplication of the afflicted. How many times we done been out there on the highways and byways, and brothers trying to tell us that the things that they done went through, what we look like trying to overtalk them or not listening to what they got to say. Where's the whole point of us being out there? That's right. You know, brother trying to tell her, hey man, I done went through this car accident, I'm here. If we ain't taking that and letting the brother know the Lord pulled you through that, feeding the sheep once again, the Lord pulled you through that. You here today to get some more understanding to help change your life. Right. If we ain't listening to that supplication, what the hell are we out on the corner for? Why are we talking to our brothers and sisters knowing that we all got problems to go through? How can we build a bond together if we ain't listening? You know? It said, turn not away thine eye from the needy, and give him none occasion to curse thee. Now, we done had several run-ins with several individuals while teaching. You know, I'll never forget the very first time we went out, you know, It was a sister came asking for some food. Now, we didn't have any food. We had some drinks, and we had the word, you know. But she came asking for some food, and we told her we didn't have no food. We got some drink. The woman snapped. I hope you die. You know, I was like, damn, is this what it's going to be like going forward? You know. But I'll never forget that. Not that it made me paranoid or scared or not want to do what I'm supposed to be doing, but it just made me understand how much harder we got to go in the paint. I put it that way. How much more the need is, you know. But from there, I want to show a quick video because a lot of people had this mindset about helping out the poor, helping out our brothers and sisters.
Hey, and I want to make a quick point about verse 4. It says, reject not the supplication of the afflicted. Like you said, we out there listening to our people. Hey, when you think about it, when you see it's nothing new under the sun, right? The prophets in the book of Acts, all right, the book of Romans, right? When they actually laid hands on the people and healed the sick, right? It's the same thing today. We're healing the sick, but spiritual healing, right? With our words, with the words of the Lord, right? We out there, like you think about a doctor, right? When you go to the doctor's office, the doctor don't just talk the whole time. It's really you talking. You telling the doctor everything that's wrong with you, right? Oh yeah, my knee been hurting every time I turn this way, right? This muscle right here flexes, and it causes pain in my back and my shoulder, right? You listening to the problems of the people, right? That's what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? And then we're able, Lord's will, right, to go into the scriptures and give the spiritual healing to the people, right, for their problems, for what's been going on with their knee or with their shoulder, right? If you got ears to hear, right? But that's
hey,
basically
giving
what
that
we do.
diagnosis, man. You know,
right? It's like the diagnosis, like
this is a scene from a movie from back in the day. It was one of my movies I used to love to watch when I was back in the world. But this particular scene goes exactly with what we're talking about because a lot of our people think or had this mindset, and some people will make a career out of it. But we're gonna let it play.
How do you feel? You're working in college. Ain't nothing done. You up in there next year? Yeah, well, I'm thinking about going away to college myself, kid. Thank you, brother. Thank you very much. Hey, yo, look, man, you better stop clowning. Get your GED before you end up like that brother back there. Thank you. I can give you my G.O.B.
You see, the Lord, He ain't no fool, and we need to be reading this book to get a further understanding, because like I said at the very beginning, a lot of our brothers and sisters will be caught off of what we see on TV and feel, hey, that's somebody that's in need. I'm going to go give them whatever, whenever, But it's scriptures to back that up or tell you or give you the right way of handling that situation, Let's get Sirach 12:12-1. Let me pull another one up right quick just to show you, furthermore prove what we're talking about.
Now, some people may get mad at me, revealing this, but you can make money panhandling. Good money. If I could make the money I was making without my addiction, I would probably make more than some people make a year. I remember one day, a lady, it was two women, and one of them gave me $60. And when she gave me $60, her girlfriend tried to outdo her, and she gave me $60. I walk down the street, a guy give me $20. I'll go across the street, a Chinese man give me $100. It kind of I scared myself that night. And that's when I realized that panhandling was good, and I just kept on with it.
Maybe average, probably I'd say 70 average a day. I was probably doing in them little shifts, $20 to $30 was probably an average, and the lunch shift maybe 10 to 15. One day I made absolutely no money. There was a Comic-Con, something at the convention, the cartoon guys or the whatever they are, the comic book guys, and those guys are pretty generous. I think I made like $300 that day, but I was there all day for the convention. Right. I didn't take breaks that day.
You can say, I'm gonna go up and I'm gonna give me $25. That might be your goal. You might get that from 2 people in 20 minutes. You're gonna stand there longer if you can get that much money quick. You're gonna stand there maybe an hour or two longer. You might only get $15 in the next 2 hours. So it's weird how it works. Well, I remember one day I told a person that I wanted something to eat, and they ended up buying me something to eat and taking me to church. So I got more than I bargained for.
Thanks.
So brought that out just to show, how folks will take advantage of your kindness. We all heard that phrase before. Taking my kindness for a weakness. That kindness is ignorance. You're following behind the traditions or the custom that you learned from watching TV. A lot of us try to be good-hearted. I know we all fell victim to that. Just trying to help because this person is family or a good friend, or just because I want to be a so-called good Samaritan. We'll give just because. But the Lord he don't tell us to do that. Let's get that in Sirach 12:1.
The book of Sirach, chapter 12 and verse 1. When thou wilt do good, know to whom thou doest it, so shalt thou be thanked for thy benefits.
The Lord said, when thou will do good, know who you doing it for. Somebody come up to you in the parking lot, hey brother, I need some change. I'm trying to do this, trying to do that with my family. The Lord said, know who you doing it for. Because we all know how many times we done seen it. Just like them brother was just saying in the video. I remember years ago in a parking lot, a brother ran up on me saying he was hungry in the Walmart parking lot. I pulled out a big ass bag of chips. Here you go, brother. What kind of chips is them? Nah, I'm good. What? I thought you was hungry.
Mm-hmm.
But you turned down the food. You see what I'm talking about? Know who you doing what for. Keep going on that though.
Verse 2. Do good to the godly man, and thou shalt find a recompense. And if not from him, yet from the Most High.
Do good to the godly man. What's a godly man? A man that's going to fear the Lord and keep his commandments. If they ain't keeping the commandments, ain't trying to hit, don't do it. That's what the Lord telling you right there. Do good to the godly man, and thou shalt find a recompense. Another word for recompense is a reward.
Mm-hmm.
And it said, and if not from him, not from that man you gave it to, then from the Most High, then the Lord gonna repay you. Think about that. That's a commandment. Know who you giving your funds to, who you giving your time and energy to. That's a commandment. Keep going.
There can no good come to him that is always occupied in evil, nor to him that giveth no alms.
Lord said there can't no good come to him always occupied in evil. Think about that. No good. Want to stay out horn, want to stay out in the club, want to stay smoking tree, weed, whatever. Ain't no good gonna come to that. You're wasting your time. Keep going.
Give to the godly man, and help not a sinner.
The Lord said that twice. So if he repeat himself, it's serious. It means something. He said, give to the godly man and help not a sinner. You know, a lot it's kind of difficult in these times because you know a lot of our people don't know who the hell they are. You know, they don't know they in sin. But when you take time and you break it down to them, and they still reject it, that lets you know not to deal with them. Keep it moving. Stop wasting your time. Well, Christ say, dust your feet, you know, and keep it moving. You know, if it's meant for them, whether it be next week, next year, they'll come to their senses. But that don't mean you're supposed to spend the next week or the next year trying to convince them to change their ways. You know, he said, give to the godly man and help not a sinner. What's a sinner? Somebody that continuously does what? Break God's commandments. Keep going on that.
Verse 5. Do well unto him that is lowly, but give not unto the ungodly. Hold back thy bread, and give it not unto him, lest he overmaster thee thereby. For else thou shalt receive twice as much evil for all the good thou shalt have done unto him.
Wow. So he said, do well unto him that is lowly, but give not unto the ungodly. How many times the Lord has said that now? That's the third time. Third time the charm. He said, hold back thy bread and give not unto him, lest he overmaster thee. You trying to be righteous, you trying to be good, give a brother 5 or a 20 or 100. Next thing you know, he robbing you.
Or
You know
drive off in the Benz.
Yeah. Just like you just seen in the video. You know? He said, or for else thou shalt receive twice as much evil. You giving to them wicked ass pastors. Next thing you know, you're gonna get twice the evil. Now he's sleeping with your wife. Think about that. You're gonna get twice the evil for all the good that I have done unto him. You run around trying to fix up the church and give them everything that they want, they're gonna destroy your marriage, giving you the devil's doctrine on how to solve it or keep it together. They're gonna tell you keeping God's commandments is done away with. Therefore, they're gonna have your household and your relationship in shambles. And then your wife calling them, crying and need a shoulder to lean on, they making house calls. So you're gonna get twice as much evil for all the good thou shalt have done unto him. Think about that. Keep going though.
Verse 6. For the Most High hateth sinners.
He hates sin.
Hateth sinners. And will repay vengeance unto the ungodly, and keepeth them against the mighty day of their punishment.
Keep going.
Verse 7. Give unto the good, and help not the sinner.
That is the fourth time the Lord said that. Letting you know what? That is a commandment. Do not give to the sinner. Don't feel bad. The same way you shouldn't feel about wearing your fringes. The same way you shouldn't be feeling bad about keeping the Sabbath. The same way you shouldn't feel bad about not eating the swine. The bottom feeders. Calling yourself an Israelite. Don't feel bad. Why? Because that's a commandment given by the Most High God.
That's right.
And it's going to help you out. Think about these things. Let's go to Tobit 4 and 16.
Let me get a quick precept, brother.
You got it.
All right. Let me get this is First Peter chapter, going back into giving, alms and stuff like that. This is First Peter 4 and 7. It says, but the end of all things at hand. And we understand we living in the end times, the last fourth quarter, right? It says, be ye therefore sober. Like you said, don't be drug out of your mind under the influence of Babylon. And he said, watch and pray, understand the times that we living in, right? Verse 8 is what I really wanted. It says, and above all things, have fervent charity. And I looked up the word charity real quick. Give you some I guess the definition of charity, right? Like you said, it says a generous action or donation to aid the poor, ill, or needy. Like you're going into, that's what charity is. All right, I'm gonna go back to the script. It says First Peter 4 and 8. It says, And above all things, have fervent charity among yourselves, for charity shall cover a multitude of sins. So, like you said, going into it, if you're freely giving, you giving His word to our people who who don't know who they are. You know what I'm saying? You giving your time, not necessarily money, but hey, if you fervently doing that, the Lord said you covering a multitude of your sins.
That's right. Let's go to Tobit chapter 4, verse 16. You're covering your sins when you're helping your brothers out, your brothers and sisters out. Let's see what Tobit told his son.
Tobit, what now?
4 and 16 and 17.
I got you. The book of Tobit, chapter 4 and verse 17.
16.
16. So I give, O thy bread to the hungry, and thy garments to them that are naked, and according to thy abundance give alms, and let not thy eye be envious when thou givest alms. Pour out thy bread on the burial of the just, but give nothing to the wicked.
Read that last part again.
All right, but give nothing to the wicked.
The Lord said, give thy bread to the hungry and the garments to them that are naked. And according to thine abundance, give alms. And let not thy eye be envious when thou givest alms. That's clear cut. It's plain. It's simple. You're trying to help your brothers and sisters out. Give it because you willingly want to give it. And don't be trying to count your nickels and this and that. You're going to give it, give it. It ain't no different than when you borrow something. A wise man once told me, if you're going to let somebody borrow it, you might as well be counted as a loss. So if you can't freely give it, don't give it. You know what I'm saying? So that is exactly what Tobit is telling Tobias, his son, right here.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be envious when thou givest alms. It says, pour out thy bread on the burial of the just, but give nothing to the wicked. The Lord has said that not once, not twice, not three, not four, but 5 times not to give to the wicked, to the sinner. Think about that. That's a commandment. From there, let's go to Psalms 37 and 21.
Let me get one more precept. One more
Bring it
precept
out, bro.
real quick. It's Sirach, and our modern day leaders, our athletes, our rappers and stuff like that. A lot of them nowadays can attest to this. This is Sirach chapter 5 and verse 1. It says, set not thy heart upon thy goods, and say not, I have enough for my life. So that's what they go into. You know what I'm saying? They feel like they're in America, I'm good, I'm straight. But what the so-called white man do? Come and take everything that they work for away from them. So that's what the Lord is telling them. Don't set your heart, your desire, upon your money, your riches, your fame. You know what I'm saying? Because it's I don't want to get into it because I can't quote the scripture. But yes, yeah, that's what I wanted on that scripture.
But yeah, the brother right on that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these celebrities think they straight. But as soon as something as simple as saying I'm a Hebrew Israelite, now your money gone. Now your money funny. Now you apologizing. You switching up. You're tucking your tail. You know what I'm saying? You hollering like a hit dog. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But let's go to Psalms 37 and 21.
Because a lot of them do feel like they untouchable. And that scripture say, I have, and say not, I have enough for my life. Like they feel like they satisfied when they can swipe that card and decline, and it's over with.
All right. And they ain't even got to give you an excuse as to why. You know they're going to lie to you anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Psalms 37 and 21.
The book of Psalms.
26.
All right. The book of Psalms, chapter 37 and verse 21. And it reads, the wicked borroweth and payeth not again, but the righteous showeth mercy and giveth for such as be blessed of him shall inherit the earth. and they that be cursed of him shall be cut off. The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and he delighteth in his way. Though he fall, he shall not be utterly cast down, for the Lord upholdeth him with his hand. I have been young, and now I am old, Yet have I not seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread. He is ever merciful and lendeth, and his seed is blessed.
You see that? But the very first verse it said, the wicked borrow and payeth not again, but the righteous showeth mercy and giveth. You know what I'm saying? A lot of our brothers and sisters do that. They ain't trying to. You know what I'm saying? Now, if a brother say, hey, get this, you don't need to give back, it's cool. But a lot of our brothers and sisters, family members most importantly, borrow something and they ain't looking your way. They ducking and dodging you. Ain't trying to hear nothing you got to say. And then play like you crazy when it's time to get anything. Just like one of them neighbors that borrow your tools so long you got to borrow it back. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? He said the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and he delighteth in his way. The Lord delight that. Though he fall, what it say? Though he fall, he shall not be utterly cast down, for the Lord upholdeth him with his hand. You know, a righteous brother, it say that in Proverbs, a righteous man gonna fall 7 times, but he gonna rise again.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And we got to be there with our brothers and sisters to make sure that they don't fall on a continuous or a regular pattern, you know? So it said, he is ever merciful and lendeth, and his seed is blessed. So that's how we need to be, you know? I know we in captivity where we got to deal with our enemy, and we got to basically borrow from them. But it said he is merciful and lendeth, and his seed is blessed. So when we get to that mindset or get to that level, like I said before in the beginning of this class, it's not all about money. But when we merciful and we lendeth and lending that ear, that shoulder to cry on or to lean on, our seed is blessed from that. And the Lord see all things. You know what I'm saying? And dealing with our brothers and sisters that's homeless, we need to understand this as well. We are homeless as a nation of people. Because our homeland is where? Jerusalem. Galatians 4:26. We are homeless. We ain't in our homeland.
That's right.
So how we got the nerve to look down on somebody?
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? We damn strangers in this land. This ain't our home. This ain't our rest place. We're going to find out where our homeland is at. Let's get there. All right. Galatians chapter 4, verse 26.
The book of Galatians chapter 4 and verse 26. But Jerusalem, which is above, is free, which is the mother of us all.
But what?
But Jerusalem, which is above, is free, which is the mother.
For those who are tuning in for the first time tonight, who ain't never heard nothing about the truth, you just not learning you're an Israelite, a so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian. Your homeland is not Africa, it's Jerusalem. It's not America. It's not the South Side. It's not the West Side. It's not Cali. It ain't Texas. It's Jerusalem. The nation of Israel homeland is Jerusalem. The scriptures tell you that. Your enemy ain't going to tell you that. But for now, let's go to Leviticus 26 and 40. We almost done. Go ahead.
Let me say something real quick. All right. When you go back to Galatians chapter 4 and verse 26, right? It say, but Jerusalem, which is above, is free, which is the mother of us all. Think about how about all of our people talk about going back to the motherland, right? Going back to Mother Nature. Hey, the Bible is telling you where our motherland is, and that's in Jerusalem. It's not the landmass of Africa, right? It's a specific place within the continent of Africa, which has over 50 countries in it, telling you that Jerusalem right, is the mother of us all. That's our homeland. It's not Birmingham. It's not Detroit, right? It's not America. This is not our motherland. Hey, even though the Native Americans, so-called Native Americans, they were here, they was the first to inhabit this side of the land. It's not our motherland. Hey, Jerusalem is our motherland.
That's right. Let's go to Leviticus chapter 26 and verse 40. I got about 4 more scriptures and we'll be done. Leviticus 26 and 40, we're going to read that to 42.
All right.
Because as the brother said, Jerusalem is our motherland, you know, and whether you want to know it or not, the mother is the first teacher. So the Native Indians, when they was over in Jerusalem, that's where they got all their customs. That's where they learned how to speak, how to walk. You know what I'm saying? The instruction. So when they came onto this side of the world, that's why in today's, I ain't gonna say today, but in science or history, historical facts, they'll bring up different artifacts that's in Mexico or in New Mexico with different artifacts showing that they spoke Hebrew or that they had Hebrew customs because they learned it from the motherland. They mother the first land of the first teacher, you know. But go ahead with that. Leviticus 26 and 40. We're going to read that to 42.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 26 and verse 40. If they shall confess their iniquity and the iniquity of their fathers with their trespasses, which they trespass against me, and that also they have walked contrary unto me, and that I also have walked contrary unto them, and I have brought them into the land of their enemies. If then their uncircumcision hearts be humbled, and they then accept of the punishment of their iniquity, then will I remember my covenant with Jacob, and also my covenant with Isaac, and also my covenant with Abraham. Will I remember, and I will remember their land.
You see that? That's how the Lord is going to remember and forget, basically. You know what I'm saying? Once we acknowledge and accept our punishment for our wrongdoing, we got to admit what he said, confess the iniquity and the iniquity of our fathers with their trespass, with, you know, their sins. So we got to admit that it was our forefathers that messed up as well as us. For the Lord to say, you know what? I see some sincerity in them brothers and sisters. They realize who they are and what's going on. Now I'm going to remember them and what I promised to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You know, this is part of the food that we're supposed to be blessing our brothers and sisters with, letting them know what the end game is, that the kingdom is for us. It ain't for nobody else. You know, because we all been indoctrinated or conditioned to thinking that it's for everybody. That we going to meet an old decrepit ass white man at the pearly gates, sitting with a big ass book checking your name off. You know, think about that. That's what we be conditioned to look at. Let's go to Ezekiel 36 and 34.
Let me get a quick precept real quick. Going back to it, man. All right, going back to what you bringing out of the Lord. I said we got to confess our iniquities, right? This is Baruch chapter 2 and verse 1. It says, therefore the Lord have made good his word which he pronounced against us. And like you had said at the beginning, you know, declaring the end from the beginning. He said, therefore the Lord have made good his word which he pronounced against us and against our judges that judge Israel, and against our kings, and against our princes, and against the men of Israel and of Judah, going into all our leadership, our military, you know, our kings, our prophets. The Lord made good, and how he done that, verse 2, to bring upon us great plagues. And I'll tell y'all, one of the great plagues is us not remember who we are, us forgetting that we are the children of Israel. That's a great plague, you know. And it says to bring upon us a great plague such as never happened under the whole heaven, as it came to Jerusalem, right? Came to pass in Jerusalem, Salaki, I'm sorry, which we also know that, hey, nobody went into slavery on cargo slave ships. Nobody has been, and it's going to tell you, I'm going to just let it ride. verse it says according to the things that were written in the law of Moses, because Moses told us this. If we broke the commandments, we'll be cursed. We'll be subject to payments. We'll be uh you know in the worst conditions there is. I'm gonna jump down to verse 4. It says, moreover, he have delivered them to my Israel, us, to be in subjection to all the kingdoms that are around about us, right? To be as a reproach and a desolation among all the people round about, where the Lord had scattered them, right? He did this, right? Because we trespass against him. So now we got to confess. He said in the land of our captivities, we got to do these things, right? So I'm
praise.
good on that.
Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 36, verse 34. Well, now I started 33. And we're going to read down to 36. Ezekiel 36 and 33.
Okay, this is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 36 and verse 33. And it reads, the book of Ezekiel, chapter 36 and verse 33. Thus saith the Lord God, in the day that I shall have cleansed you from all your iniquities, I will also cause you to dwell in the cities, and the waste shall be builded.
So the Lord is saying, in that day, I shall have cleansed you from all your iniquity. What got us in this situation that we in now? Our iniquity, our sin. Got us on the bottom of society. So when the Lord come back, crack that sky and gather his elect, he said he going to cleanse you from your iniquity. And so you're going to dwell in the cities and the way shall be built. Keep going.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 36 and verse
34.
And it reads, and the desolate land shall be tilled, whereas it lay desolate in the sight of all that passed by.
So we already know that when Christ cracked that sky, it's wartime, World War III. And everything going to be destroyed. He said, and the desolate land shall be filled, whereas it lay desolate in the sight of all that passed by. Keep going.
And they shall say, this land that was desolate is become like the Garden of Eden.
Mm-hmm.
And the waste and desolate and ruined cities are become fenced and are inhabited.
Keep going.
Then the heathen that are left round about you shall know that I, the Lord, build the ruined places and plant that was desolate. I, the Lord, have spoken it, and I will do it.
The Lord letting you know he going to set everything back in order, and he going to have the heathen, the other nations, to build them cities back up. That's what we need to be feeding into our brothers and sisters. Stop being outside the store begging for change so you can go get a black or a damn bottle of Cisco or a Thunderbird, some Mad Dog 2020. Straighten your life out and change. Help spread this truth. Help our brothers and sisters get back in order, because the end game is the kingdom is for us.
Right.
Christ is coming for his elect. Stop rejecting the Lord, because the reason you're in the condition you in is for a rejection of the law or the truth. But he told you that in Proverbs, poverty and shame come to those who reject the law. And a lot of our people in the nation of Israel reject the laws of God. They going through day-to-day life with all type of pains, constant tragedies, depression, don't know how to deal with life as a whole. Why? Because they ain't keeping the commandments. And it's also due to the fact that 2/3 of our people are going to be cut off in the end anyway. But the Lord is telling us right here that when he cleanses us from our iniquity, from our sin, he going to rebuild everything. And the nations, the other nations, the ones who left, going to rebuild for us. And we going to be in rulership. That's the good news of the gospel. You know what I'm saying? That these other nations going to be your footstool. But for now, let's go to Sirach 23 and 19.
Come on, let me get a quick precept real quick.
You got it?
I had read this last week, man, and this anybody who didn't hear it, I'm gonna read it again because it's a good scripture. It's Second Ezra. It's going back into what you talk about the kingdom. Second Ezra chapter 2 and verse 10. It said, "Thus said the Lord unto Ezra, tell my people that I will give them the kingdom of Jerusalem, which I will give unto Israel. So the Lord literally telling, hey, he gonna give us the kingdom. He's gonna give it back to us, like he's gonna set it back in our possession, right? So
That's right.
that's quick
But a
precept
lot
for
of
you.
our people, we thinking that it's for everybody, or we don't match up. We ain't qualified enough, because we see them whitewash movies, pictures, paintings, whatever. We think we ain't qualified. It ain't for us because we ain't in rulership right now. We don't think that we qualified. It ain't meant for us. Let's go to Sirach 23 and 19. Somebody give me Matthew 5 and 3.
I got you, Sirach, chapter 23 and verse 19. And it reads, you said Sirach 23:19?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Such a man only fears the eyes of man, and knoweth not the eyes of the Lord are 10 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the ways of man and considering the secret parts. He know
So
all things.
the Lord is saying, such men only fear the eyes of men. A lot of our brothers and sisters, they don't fear the Lord. They fear what the enemy say, what the oppressor got to say. They care what somebody think, how they look. They care about the opinions of men. They fear men and know if not that the eyes of the Lord are 10,000 times brighter than the sun. The Lord see all things. That's what it's saying right there. Beholding all the ways of men, even your thoughts, and considering the most secret parts. So that's what we need to be instilling in our brothers and sisters, and that's what we need to have in our own mindset when trying to help and heal our brothers and sisters. If we got negative thoughts toward our brothers and sisters, the Lord has seen that. If we ain't trying to help our brothers and sisters, the Lord has seen that. The brother out there struggling, he ain't got clothing to keep him warm. The Lord has seen that. He done seen you turn the blind eye. The Lord see all things. So everybody need to, especially in the nation of Israel, because he's gonna judge his house first. So we need to be mindful of the fact that the Lord see all things. He's omnipresent. He all around at all times. So we need to be conscious of the things that we thinking about, the things that we say, the things that we do. Because the Lord is watching at all times. And if anything, we need to be going harder in the paint. Ain't no days off. Let's go to Sirach 5 and 7 after Matthew. Somebody got that Matthew 5?
Yeah. The book of Matthew, chapter 5. What verse?
Verse 3 through 6.
The book of
These
Matthew.
last two verses.
The book of Matthew, chapter 5 and verse 3. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven.
Read that one more time.
Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 4. Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth.
You see that? Blessed are the poor in spirit, meaning the elect, meaning the nation of Israel. Blessed are the poor in spirit, because we don't know who we are. We know it's a God. We know we supposedly have a relationship with him, but the relationship is got a wall up between it or divided because he cut us off for being disobedient. He's slowly but surely waking us up, and he letting us know for theirs is the kingdom of heaven, poor in spirit, but we rich. That's what he say in Revelation 2 and 9. Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. We going through all these trials and tribulations. Kids get snatched up, killed, family members dying left and right. It say, blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. When you keep it in commandments, because Christ gonna raise you up in the end. Gonna be increased in thy end. I'm paraphrasing. But it says, blessed are the meek are the humble or obedient, for they shall inherit the earth. Ezra told you in 2nd Ezra 6:54 that the earth was made for our sakes. It was given to the other nation for our disobedience. And when the Lord cleanses us from our iniquity, from our sin, guess what? We're going to get the earth back. So blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. That's the good news. That's what we need to be given to the poor in spirit, poor in mind, body, soul, to keep the commandments, basically. That's the only way out. Sitting on the corner or sitting there feeling sad for yourself, having the cup hands, not putting in work, just sitting back, just saying the hell with it. Life is what it is. Nah. The Lord said, put in that work, and blessed are thee that keep these commandments. Let's get Sirach 5 and 7, and we're going to end it on that. Sirach chapter 5, verse 7.
The book of Sirach, chapter 5 and verse 7. Make no tarry to turn to the Lord, and put not off day to day. For suddenly shall the wrath of the Lord come forth, and in thy security thou shalt be destroyed, and perish in the day of vengeance.
So the Lord saying, why you got an opportunity, why you still got breath in your lungs, turn to the Lord wholeheartedly, not half-assed, wholeheartedly. Make no tarrying to turn to the Lord, and put not off from day to day. For suddenly shall the wrath of the Lord come forth. When you thinking everything good, or I can do it tomorrow, or I'll get back to read next week, or I'll keep the commandments next month. I'm going to start when my birthday come around. Nah, the Lord said, don't make no tarry. You know what I'm saying? Because you ain't guaranteed to wake up tomorrow. You could drop dead an hour later after getting off this call or watching this video. Make no tarry. Here within the last month, I'd have seen brothers that I'd have known go through some tragedy. And the Lord is showing us and them to make no tarry. Brothers and went through some atrocities, some tragedies here recently, all over the world, but just brothers that I've known personally. Gone just like that. Made tarry. The Lord said, don't make tarry. Don't make no excuses. Don't put it off. Jump on it right now while you got an opportunity, because tomorrow ain't guaranteed. Don't sit there and then get caught up in the Lord's wrath of vengeance. When you get ready to lose your house or lose your car, or you in an accident and you on your last leg, don't wait then to go crying to the Lord. While you got an opportunity, while his brothers and sisters willing to teach you, while the word is still available, jump on it.
Right.
And on that note, I hope everybody learned something. I'm Brother
Ananias. Real quick. Let me give another quick precept. We can't lay hard. Let me get another quick precept. Once, 1 Samuel chapter 2 and verse 3. Going back to what you just said. 1 Samuel 2 and 3. Talk no more so exceedingly proudly, and let not arrogancy come out of thy mouth. For the Lord is a God of knowledge, and by him actions are weighed.
Break it down, bro.
Oh, it's going into lip service. That's what Judah Israel is all about. We worship God, through our lips. What we gonna do. And the Lord said it's time to put your hands to the plow and push forward towards the kingdom. Right? And don't talk about it, be about it, as we would say.
Oh, praise. You know what I'm saying? Because coming in this truth, the Lord basically, they pulled you off the bench and put you in the game.
Facts.
You got to go hard. Ain't no days off. Ain't no playing soft. You got to go for your people. You got to go for the king. You got to go for the Lord. Day in and day out. It ain't no slacking. It ain't no shoulda, woulda, couldas no more. Like the brother said, put that hand to the plow and let's get it. But on that note, I hope everybody that tune in and watch this learn something. We are A.O.I, the Awakening of Israel, and I'm Brother Ananias.
Brother Benai.
Brother Baruch.
And we got Brother Eric, and we say shalom.
Shalom.